Hello and welcome to yesterday, where I'm pre-recording this video in advance of heading to the Geneva Motor Show and getting up close and personal with the all-new Honda Civic Type R. We're really excited, as I'm sure you guys are, and up until this point, all the information I've been given in advance of the launch and things to write articles and shoot videos has been under an NDA, or a non-disclosure agreement. It means I can't tell you anything about the car until 6 AM GMT on Tuesday the 7th of March. Now, by the time you guys are watching this, I'll be on a plane, hence why this is being pre-recorded. And this non-disclosure agreement I have with Honda means nothing anymore, which means I can now officially speak to you about the car. First of all, a little bit of managing expectations. Honda are not releasing every scrap of detail about this car at Geneva, but I can tell you everything that they are going to be revealing at Geneva. They're saving some things and keeping some things close to the chest, ready for the launch of the car at the beginning of the summer. But let's get underway with the first official images of the new Type R, and oh my goodness, doesn't it look so close to its concept car? Once upon a time we used to have fanciful concept cars that looked like spaceships and never came to fruition, but here we are with a car that, give or take, looks identical to the prototype that was shown last year. You've got that really aggressive front splitter, and the bonnet scoop has been retained as well for extra cooling. Some very aggressive skirting runs along the side, and the large black alloy wheels with the red trimming still fill the arches. Note those big old Brembo brakes through the spokes as well. Around the back you'll find that triple exhaust pipe has been retained, which is a really unique feature, not just on hot hatchbacks but in general. And of course the large rear wing is still there doing its work, manipulating the air around the car and creating rear downforce. The whole car is said to produce a significant increase in overall downforce than its predecessor, and with its really aggressive aero kit, that's certainly to be believed. There's even some intricate details if you look across the roof at the back of the car. They're called VTEC generators, those little modules you see running along the back, and they help create vortices to further manipulate the air and maximise the aerodynamic package at the rear of the car. So there's some real science going on with this car. It's not all just for show. So let's get underneath the skin of the car, because I know that's the sort of techie details that you lot have been clamouring for. Under the bonnet is the same 2-litre turbocharged VTEC engine out of the FK2 Type R. No bad thing, strong, torquey engine, and here it produces the same 400 Newton meters of torque, so we're expecting that same pulling power that we've experienced in the previous car, which is no bad thing. Power output is 316 brake horsepower. Now, I know some of you may have been expecting maybe a little bit higher. I think certainly I was expecting a slightly higher power output for the car, because that's only 10 brake horsepower over its predecessor. But I think what we've all got to remember is that this Type R is coming out very early in the 10th generation Civic's life cycle. Of course, it's built upon that car. And usually these sort of cars come out towards the end of that model's lifetime. There's various political reasons and business reasons for doing this, but also I think Honda have built in a little bit of wiggle room to tune the car throughout the good number of years that the Type R will be present in this generation. So I see 316 brake horsepower as the starting point, and through various facelifts, alterations, and probably an eventual run-out model, that power bumping its way up. From conversations I've had with engineers in the past, they've all suggested that the car's platform could take more power. That power goes to the front wheels via a 6-speed manual transmission, and of course there's the same dual-axis suspension helping to manage the torque steer. Whilst we're on the subject of suspension, the new 10th generation Civic has rear multi-link suspension as standard, which means Honda didn't have to go and develop all of that, especially for the Type R like they did last time, which means more development time and energy could be put into other areas of the car, such as a 38% stiffer torsional rigidity of the car. So it's less flex, stiffer chassis, and it's certainly going to be better for handling. Also, the car has a wider track in general in comparison to the 9th generation Civic, but that's been further bolstered by these bloated wheel arches that hide an even wider track than the standard 10th generation Civic. So we're expecting high levels of grip, and it's also going to help counter any form of understeer. Now, a complaint that was said by many people for the previous Type R was its ride. It was a bit crashy, it was a bit firm, large alloy wheels, very stiff suspension setup. Obviously, it's quite a hardcore machine. On smooth country roads, beautiful. On rutted British tarmac, it could get a bit grating. Plus R mode, which ideally was just for, particularly in the UK, just for track purposes because it stiffens it even further, was definitely a no-go on the road really, because it really unsettled the car into corners. However, the new Type R has remedied this, not only with a new suspension setup and geometry and all this, that and the other, but there are new selectable drive modes. So you start off in comfort, which is said to have a very good balance of handling and absorbency for road imperfections. You then step it up into sport, where the suspension firms up a little bit more, you get a bit more weighting from the steering. And then, of course, there's Plus R, which goes the whole hog. It's the Nürburgring set up for the car again. It is the do or die button you press before setting your hot lap time, which is great because it now gives the car far greater flexibility, and it will appeal to a broader proportion of the market if you think about it, because not everyone wants that hard ride all of the time. It is there if somebody wants it through those modes that you can dial up and down. But now with that flexibility, it certainly becomes a more appealing everyday car, I suppose. Now, as before, the Type R will be sold across Europe, also this time in Japan, and yes, the United States of America are finally joining that list, and it means that you guys in the States who are, there's a real strong Honda following out there. You guys know Type R. There have been Type Rs imported previously to the States. You now get your own domestic model, and the best thing of all is that it's the same as everybody else's. So there's no, well, one country gets better than the other. Everybody's being treated equally. It's a great opportunity for Honda to sell in the US for the first time, and yeah, I'm really excited to hear what some of our American viewers think about this new car. Now, the car hits the road this summer. At the beginning of the summer, we should be amongst the first to drive the car, road test it, deliver our opinion. But it should be in showrooms shortly after, which is pretty exciting. It's a very quick turnaround for this car. Now, be sure to stay tuned to the YouTube channel, because whilst this is a quick dressing down on the car before we actually get all touchy-feely with the car at Geneva, later today there'll be another video with the Type R, with the car physically there, and I'll be going through some of the more intricate details and what we actually think of things like the interior, and we'll stick the camera in some more interesting elements of the car, I think, as well. So stay tuned, stay subscribed. Thanks very much for being patient and waiting for this information. Things like 0 to 60 top speed, pricing, they're all saving that for a little later date. But trust me, as soon as we know, we'll let you know. I'll ask some more questions on the show stand at Geneva and see whether I can put any more information into the following video. Thanks very much for watching, everybody, and I'll see you in Geneva.
Thanks very much for watching, and let us know what you think in the comments below. Please subscribe for all of the latest and greatest cars to hit the road. For breaking news and written reviews, visit www.insidelane.co.uk.